Okay then, final race of the night then, the F2 Grand National. Slightly depleted field of F2s, it must be said. Only 11 cars back out there. And obviously top 10 score points, which will be helpful towards our lap down handicapped car for this one. H248 Wout Hoffman is the winner of the final. Of course, you must go from the lap down handicap in Formula 2s. And if you climb inside the top 10 places, you will score double points compared to what you normally would. Formula 2's the points in the heats and the Grand National are 10 points for first, 1 point for 10th. So if you get anywhere inside that, you'll get double points awarded. Anyway then, so we'll see what happens then. 335, Jake Woodhull, the lone white grader. Let's see what happens in this one. The Formula 2 Stock Cars Grand National. Right, green flag goes down, and away we go with the last race of the evening here at Bellevue. And Jack Witts has gone already. It's his last race, and after a good say, he's been collected by Tom Brighton, Stan Ley, and Scott Kinton for about the only time tonight I managed to avoid that carnage. He's usually got caught up in other people's accidents tonight, but away we go then. So we've seen the mainly whites, yellows. We've mainly seen whites and yellows dominating tonight. Are we going to see one of the reds or superstars come through from the back? I think Danny Ross is on the charge of this one here. He could be the person to do so, especially when we've got the very fast Wout Hoffman from the yellow grade starting a lap down in this race. He's got to try and make up the lap to the cars that are starting in their rightful positions that they would normally. But at the moment, it's 4 different grades in the top 4 places. Haven't quite got the superstar Scott Kinton up the order yet into 5th. And he's now going to try and do a slide from Ricky James over there on turn 2, and he goes through on the inside of the Sheffield-based driver. It's 335, 68, 85, 114 and 606, the top 3, the top 5 I should say, sorry. Yes, I can count, honestly. As they come through, 237, Ricky James attacking the back of 529, Tom Brighton as they go down the far side by side between the two of them. So, a much tamer race so far, not as many spins, I say that, as Tom Brighton almost goes round. Almost cursed the commentator there by a complete accident. 180, Jack Witts at the last point score in 10th. Wout Hoffman has been able to catch up, and there we go, that's the first spin, isn't it? I had to say something. And it would be Callum Thornton as well that goes round. Every time I say something, every time I say something about him, he always crashes into something. 237, Ricky James managed to go through now. That's into 7th place, I think, on the charts for this one. But 335, Jake Woodhull, race leader. He's now been chased down by 2 red tops and a blue grader. 606, Stan Ley, who's been on the pace most of the evening, is up there in 2nd. He's on for his best results of the night so far. I believe he got to 3rd place in one of the heats earlier on this evening, and he might be able to go a bit further forwards and make himself the leader in this one. Unfortunately, with the smaller entry cars, with not many accidents going on, Wout Hoffman hasn't been able to make up the ground that he probably would have been able to if the handicap was enforced in the final or the heats. And here comes Stan Ley, 606 on the home straight now, trying to go for the back of 335. Jake Woodhull, your Heat 1 winner, this evening. He now goes through into the race lead. So we've got a Dutch car in the lead once again for about the 3rd time tonight, as Hoffman's was in the lead for most of Heat 2 until he got taken out by some backmarker traffic. But it's been a relatively close race. Not as many big hits going as we've seen in the heats. Well, to be fair, the heats have been pretty quiet when it comes to bumper work. And Caden Morrison, just as I say, that goes in the back of Jake Woodhull. So I think this race has become how many things can a commentator get wrong before it actually happens. Because I'm sure now that I've said that, something else interesting that hasn't happened all night will happen. And Jack Witts now gets nailed by Tom Brighton up there. So I think this race is just proving you don't need a big field of cars to go racing. And here comes 145 Scott Kinton, the superstar driver. He's finally up in the top 3. He's not quite been able to get there so far. He's been caught up in other incidents that aren't necessarily his fault. He did admittedly put himself in a tyre in the opening race of the night, but on the most part, he's just got a bit unfortunate this evening, I think, Scott Kinton. And got another spin. Round goes Jack Witt's 180. That's delayed Wout Hoffman's, but I think Hoffman's might be able to get through for 10th here and guarantee himself 2 points in this race, rather than the standard 1, of course, that you would get for 10th place in our BriSCA F2 start cars here. 2 this time, sir, please. 2 this time for 606 Stanley, the Dutch driver. 145, 114, 85 and 237 round out the top 5. In this much tamer and much cleaner race from the F2s. Last lap ball goes down from our invisible start marshal. But yeah, certainly been a bit more spread out this one, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's let the high graders catch up a little bit more than what they were in the early races. And for the first time tonight, we have a red grade winner in the F2 stock car, 606 Stanley. And oh, Kinton's gone. He's going to recover for 5th place though, so our superstar driver obviously having all the bad luck tonight, but we go around then, waiting for the last few cars to cross the timing line. I believe Jack Witt's with the last one home in 11th. OK, Mr. Please, we'll go Reds. All cars did the distance, and Wout Hoffman did get 10th place from the handicap.